Before we dive into today's episode, I wanted to remind you that this is the last call. It's the last call to fill out your application for the Alive coaching experience. Head on over to heatherchauvin.com/alive. That's Heather Chauvin, spelled CHAUVIN.com/alive, ALIVE. Inside of Alive, you are going to get immediate access to my energetic time management process. This is going to show you how to reverse engineer how you want to feel in every area of your life, giving you more time, more energy, and more focus. And not only that, we're going to dive deep into our emotional intelligence, showing you how to handle all life stressors when it comes to you. So head on over to heatherchauvin.com/alive. We start September 1st. Yes, and we will not be opening the doors for this program for the rest of the year. heatherchauvin.com/alive. That's your next baby step. This is you taking action to live a life that's in alignment with how you want to feel, so you can become the role model and become the adult your children need. All right, welcome, Erin.
Thank you.
Thank you for being willing to get emotionally uncomfortable.
Yes, thank you for holding this space.
All right, so we're doing some live coaching today. So let's talk about the topic that you want some coaching and clarity around.
Yes, to make it short, infidelity within a marriage, moving through it, whether that means staying together within a marriage or not, just kind of next steps and clarity in a shitty situation.
Perfect. Okay, so let's go back a little bit and give me more information on when, how, and what stage you're in right now.
So we'll have to go back 3 years when the first incident, if you will. I was 8 months pregnant with a 2-year-old and found out that my husband was visiting at least half of the dating sites possible on the internet, searching for random hookups. Whether or not a random hookup happened, he swears it didn't. It doesn't matter to me. He was open and available and searching. And that's a betrayal to our marriage in my mind. It hurt then. I was so angry. But with a newborn coming and a 2-year-old, I honestly had no desire to raise the two of them on my own without his support. So we stayed together and, thought things were going okay. Obviously, there's ups and downs in every marriage. Cut to 2 days ago, I found out that he's doing the exact same stuff. So, so right now it's a roller coaster of emotions. I'm hurt. I'm so angry, scared. All of them.
Awesome. Thank you for being open. So to preface this, the stance that I take, since I am not a marriage counselor, therapist, coach, is about how do you want to feel, right? We cannot be responsible for other people's actions, other people's emotions, other people's reactions, whether it's a child or an adult. All we can control is our state of being. And life happens. Shit hits the fan all the time. And everyone will have their opinion of the choices you need to make. And if you choose to make a choice, or if you choose to make a decision based on somebody else's beliefs or values, you are always abandoning yourself. Always. So my stance is always that you know best, and I'm just here to guide you back home to yourself. And I truly believe that the stronger you become as a person, the more you become yourself, meaning this is not a time to allow the actions of other people to consume you and drain your life force energy, because this is a time when you have to not become stronger, but more grounded so that you can get the clarity that you need on the next life cycle. So let's talk about your emotions first.
Okay.
So, and you could just be very open and vulnerable. And if you have to let it out, you can let it out. What is your core desired feeling?
Like within relationship or life or
life in general. You've gone through the mastery program, you've done the work, you know all the things. What have been your guiding feelings of like, I want to feel this way?
Connection is the number one. I have I've changed it so many times because I feel like in different seasons I redo the work, but playfulness has been another big one of mine.
Perfect. So let's just hang out with connection and playfulness. So we're just using this as number one, your core desired feelings. Okay. So now let's go to the contrast of what you're currently experiencing because of the situation. So what is the contrast that you're experiencing? You said anger.
Anger, sadness, fear obviously comes into play. Betrayal. I feel like I was betrayed.
Okay. So let's go in and do some energy work, shall we?
Yes.
So eyes closed. Just keep inhaling and exhaling. And on your inhales, just allowing your body to breathe and expand. And on your exhales, allowing your body to release what is no longer serving it. And it can keep whatever it wants and desires as well. Okay. Anger, sadness, fear, betrayal. With your eyes still closed, where do you feel these things?
In my heart.
Which one's in the heart? What's most present?
That one's sadness. I feel anger in my throat, in my neck.
Where do you feel fear?
Fear is in my belly.
And where do you feel betrayal?
I can't pinpoint that one as well.
Okay. And on your next inhale and exhale, I'm going to ask you, where you feel playfulness?
In my head.
And where do you feel connection?
In my heart.
Which emotion is the biggest right now? Trying to get your attention.
Anger.
Mm-hmm. All right. So we're going to bring our energy and attention to anger. Is that just solely in the throat, or do you feel it anywhere else?
It's really strong in my throat.
Mm-hmm. So bringing your energy and attention to your throat and the energy of anger, and we're going to ask it, why are you here?
I'm tired of being unspoken and squashed.
Mm-hmm. So anger has showed up. It's doing its thing to get your energy and attention. And it's here to say, I'm so tired of the unspoken. I'm so tired of being squashed. So now we're going to listen to it. It's like, okay, you're tired of being unspoken. Let's hear you. What do you need from me to feel safe to leave my body? What does it say?
It needs to be honored and addressed.
How?
By acknowledging it, not just sweeping it under the rug.
How does it want you to acknowledge it? What's the first thought that comes?
Journal.
Mm-hmm.
I think it wants to have a discussion that actually gets its point across and is heard.
Mm-hmm. You want to be heard.
Yes.
Now, when I say you want to be heard, is it you as in like your soul wants to be heard, or is it your anger that wants to be heard? Or both?
I think it's a mixture of both.
Mm-hmm.
I think my anger is just strong at the moment, just indicating and pushing me towards that.
Mm-hmm. So the situation triggered your anger.
Yes.
And has brought to your awareness your desire to be heard.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So now let's open your eyes, knowing that there's a lot to unpack here, right? There's a lot. The situation, boom, trigger. A few days ago, everything comes rushing up to the surface, and you're trying to unpack it all. So I know you've been in the program for a while. You know the work of Byron Katie that I am a huge fan of, and we turn it around. But it's not about discounting other people's behaviors, right? People need to be held accountable. They need to take ownership, have conversations, do all of that. Hurt people.
Yes. Yes.
And when you're angry, we cannot see the hurt that other people are experiencing.
Right.
But we can see that the behavior is indicating something deeper inside of that individual that is having a disconnect.
Yes. Yeah.
And so now that it is the second time around, the behavior gets bigger and bigger. It's knocking out the door. So regardless of what happens, it needs to be addressed.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if that person is in denial and be like, I'm fine now, it's just a one, I don't know, I just had a moment. It's like, no, you need to go into recovery. You need to go to therapy. You need to unpack this. Like, if you're serious about this, you need to deal with your shit. I'm not going to deal with your shit.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
So how do you live your life with this indecision?
Yeah, it's very polarizing.
Mm-hmm.
I look like one completely different person on the outside to my kids, to my friends, to my family, and feel just like a stranger inside.
Mm-hmm. Explain the stranger.
Yeah. It's like this inner turmoil. It feels, it just feels like so much is up in the air and like all the balls are dropping.
Mm-hmm. Like uncertainty.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lots of lots of uncertainty.
Yeah. Okay. So all the feels are coming up. The fear, the anger, the sadness, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
You're backed into a corner, right? We can't avoid it anymore.
Yeah.
How long, Erin, do you think you have wanted to be heard for in your life?
I think that probably goes way back to childhood.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very lucky with how I was raised and my parents, but I just think culturally there's just that we're so programmed to be the nice girl who shuts up and does the things that pleases the people, and you say yes when you mean no, and all the things that I'm unlearning right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think that all comes to play.
What do you think you are being taught to lean into?
I am being taught to lean into trusting myself. And I feel like I've come a really long way within your program. And I feel like I am a big believer that the universe presents to you exactly what you need when you need it. So I believe that I'm as prepared as I ever have been to deal with this. Mm-hmm. So I'm grateful for that.
And what parts, if you're right now in this moment, and I'm not asking you to declare anything or make decisions, because that can change tomorrow. And that's okay. It's uncertain. We don't need to hang on to anything. But from what I know is when, the coping strategies that we develop over time can manifest itself with perfectionism or people pleasing and all of those things. And that is being completely dismantled right now. So let's just put the infidelity aside for one moment.
Okay. What
other parts of yourself, like that situation has triggered everything? That has all the stones that have been unturned have been flipped over. It's showing you everything, right? So whatever was in your coffee cup, it got hit and everything is coming out.
Yeah.
So what parts of yourself have you been neglecting and not hearing?
I feel like it's such a big answer. I mean, simply going back to like listening to my intuition and the voices, like not listening to them, not honoring that voice, that my higher self, neglecting my self-care, putting everybody else's needs first. Like these are all the things. And again, it's it's not funny. It's crazy that I'm like in the process of like working through these things, and then and here I am with this situation, because it's like really shedding a spotlight on everything that I was uncovering and unsurfacing and working on already, just magnifying it by like 100.
Yeah. It's like forcing you, accelerating the process.
Yeah.
So hearing yourself, right? Physically, right? What your body is saying to you physically, what it needs mentally, emotionally, in your career, in your parenting, the space that you crave, everything.
All of it.
All of it. So I'm going to ask you to do something. I'm going to pause the recording.
Okay.
And then I'll press play again. And so they will have to hear what that assignment is.
Okay. Fair.
Okay. So I paused the recording and I asked you to do a journaling exercise. And the journaling exercise was to write a thank you letter to your husband for all of the things that he has rushed to the surface.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to ask you to read it, and then we're going to wrap up the assignment.
Okay. Dear husband, thank you for allowing my true self to be seen and heard. Thank you for shining a spotlight on all the areas of myself that I have been neglecting.
Keep going.
Okay. They've been trying to get my attention for so long, and now they're finally free to be expressed. Thank you for accelerating my path back home to myself and for giving me the opportunity to feel whole again. Thank you for being a mirror to my internal suffering. Thank you for finding a way to take a stand against it. I don't know if our future is together or apart, but thank you for providing me with this time to be free again.
Okay. So you came into this conversation, and like I said, it's emotionally uncomfortable. And of course, it's a quick conversation. But you came in with this question of, I don't know what to do. And in the short amount of time, what are you walking away with?
I'm walking away with taking care of myself first and foremost. Like actually, not just learning it and then doing it sometimes and not other times, but actually putting myself first, and also unpacking all of this and letting it come to the surface and not just burying it, pretending like everything's okay.
Yeah. Thank you. I think too often there's so many schools of thought in how we're supposed to live our lives. And then we get trapped in another cycle of, well, this is what I'm supposed to do, right? Based on religion or creed, or I don't know, what your parents tell you to do, or somebody else, like we're supposed to, or I'm a failure, or this book told me that. And at the end of the day, sometimes uncertainty is there for a while. But all I know to be true is that the stronger you become mentally, physically, emotionally, the trust also builds within yourself. And life has its way of the knowing gets stronger and stronger and stronger. And you feel safer, even though there is still risk and courage and all the feelings that come up. I believe the knowing gets bigger. And then that's when you choose to make a decision, not based on what somebody else wants you to do. Because when you do that, you have to live with the consequence, right?
Yeah.
But if you can make a decision from a deep sense of trust and a knowing, even if it scares the shit out of you, and you can be okay with the decision if you choose to stay or go or whatever that future looks like. Not only that, but you will be able to function while you're going through this as well.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Any last words of wisdom or what you'd want to say to someone if they're going through this?
I think I'd like to talk about, like, along the lines of what you just said about listening to yourself, not what everybody else expects. I think part of my struggle is that I kept it quiet and I didn't share it the first time around. And I literally just buried it deep down. And I think I am doing it again, but if I could go back 3 years ago, I think I would share it and I would get the appropriate help that we needed from a professional, and just deal with it as the problem, the conflict that it is, and just staying open to that process and seeing where that process takes you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So when it happened the first time, nothing was done.
No. And I had requested that. I said, our trust has been shattered. I wished it upon him to bring me resources and for him to do the work as well. And that's how I really dove into like the self-development on my end, because I understood, like, I'm not here to control him. I'm not here to change him. I never have been. But I can make myself feel stronger and better within. Mm-hmm. So that's honestly what catapulted me into this world in the first place. But the conflict itself was just ignored and it really was never dealt with.
And now it comes back around.
Yep.
What we resist will persist and grow bigger.
Yeah.
Thank you, Erin.
Thank you, Heather.
Before I started this program, I was feeling quite overwhelmed. Full-time job, mother of 2 children, wife. I felt like I had so many different hats that I had to wear, and there was just never enough time to do them all. And taking care of myself was squeezed in there maybe once every other week. And I always felt guilty about that. And I had this deep, deep, deep message coming to me that I wanted something more. You can find joy in some of the smallest things. And that's what I feel is one of the biggest changes that I've felt and seen, is that I can start to recognize the joy, and I don't feel guilty about taking time for myself. What makes Heather unique is her ability to just cut through all the bullshit, and she's able to center it back on actionable steps that you can take to improve your situation. What message I would give is that I'm worth it. I'm worth the investment in myself to make myself a better person so other people can enjoy me more and I can enjoy myself more. And her program helps you to do that, to face the things that you may have wanted to ignore or didn't even know you were ignoring. Having the community of other women that are going on this journey has been fantastic. It's nice to be able to have that to look forward to, have a little gem of information or a quote that you may just really connect with, and to see how other women are struggling through these hard topics, but they're getting to the other side. And it's just, you get to see example after example of people having these breakthroughs, and they're just ordinary women like I am, and they're making it happen. So it's really motivational to have that group. It's just fantastic and very enriching to the whole program.